Welcome to DRC Live, powered in part by Classic of Denton and the Denton Record-Chronicle. The views and opinions expressed by the show hosts and their guests are those of the show host and guests, and not necessarily those of the sponsors, DentonRadio.com, or the Denton Convention and Visitors Bureau. For more information, visit the Policies and Procedures page at DentonRadio.com.
Good afternoon, Denton, Texas. I'm Lucinda Breeding. I am the features editor at the Denton Record-Chronicle, and
I'm Jenna Duncan. I'm the business editor over at the Denton Record-Chronicle, and this is our weekly show, DRC Live, where we go on DentonRadio.com live every Wednesday at 2 p.m. to give you the latest in news and business and events coverage coming your way this weekend. So let's start. We have kind of a cool production in town this weekend, so why don't you fill us in?
Absolutely. Denton Community Theater is opening its production of Andrew Lloyd Webber's Cats. Now, if you have been alive as long as I have been, you remember the days in like the 1980s when this show was just this massive Broadway juggernaut. It's based on Lloyd Webber based the libretto and the story, if you can call it a story, on T.S. Eliot's Old Possum's Book of Practical Cats. So this show is really based on a collection of poetry about cats. And, you know, hey, people love cats. They might pretend like they don't. But I seem to remember reading a fairly big story in like the Washington Post or New York Times about how many hours of video footage people all over the industrialized world spend watching cat videos. We are fascinated with cats, but this was turned into a musical and it took over Broadway, and it really is the story, if you can call it that. There's a sort of a loose story about a group of cats that are facing who is going to go to I think they call it the heaven side layer, and will come back for a next life. But it's really a giant show that Lloyd Webber uses a lot of different musical styles. To me, I really kind of consider it an operetta, but there is that Lloyd Webber pop kind of sound. And everybody you see on stage is a cat. So Denton Community Theater is taking this on. This is known as one of the more demanding musicals in the English-speaking sort of musical theater. What do you call it? Not lexicon, but in the universe. It's a huge dance show. I still remember being in high school and having a high school classmate who made a trip to New York City. And when she came back, she said that they actually were permitted to watch part of a rehearsal for Cats, because it was just the dominant force on Broadway at the time. And I remember her saying, we were there for an hour and a half, and they spent most of the time, the performers spent most of the time doing split leaps back and forth across the stage. Very athletic performance. And the way the musical is produced, it asked performers to really approximate the movements and character of a cat. And this show is no different. Ash Robbins is directing. Ash has been in several shows at Denton Community Theater. Most recently, she directed the Southwest premiere of Bullshot Crummond.
Oh, yeah. I remember us talking about that one.
Which is a very different property. But she took this show on, and she was telling me earlier this week that Denton Community Theater leadership was actually a little bit gun-shy about Cats because it is known as being such a demanding dance show.
Right.
But they decided to do it. So Ash Robbins brought in Nicole Probst, who I know she got a dance degree. I can't remember if it was at TWU or UNT, but both universities have very strong dance programs. So I got to talk to Ash and Nicole said that this is a community theater production. They were looking at non-dancers as well as dancers. And like a lot of Denton Community Theater musicals, there are varying degrees of danceability in the show, but there is some really impressive dance talent in the show also. But Nicole said, I didn't choreograph the show to show off what I can do. I designed the dance to show off what the performers can do.
Oh, nice.
So,
okay.
And I got to talk to some of the players. They are incredibly enthusiastic about the show and have spent a lot of time in rehearsal thinking about what it means to move like a cat, what it means to act like a cat. And they also talked a lot about having costume tails.
Yeah, I feel like that would be really weird to be dancing and having a tail hit you.
Exactly.
Or
someone else's tail hit you.
Yeah.
But this is definitely a family-friendly show. Something that you need to know going into this weekend, which is opening weekend, is that tickets are already moving really quickly.
Okay.
So if you're on the fence, by tomorrow, there might only be tickets remaining for the second and the closing weekend of the show. Performances are 7:30 p.m. this Friday and Saturday, and then August 15th through 17th. Matinee performances are 2 p.m. this Sunday and August the 18th. Like I said, it's a family-friendly show. The set is really impressive. Denton Community Theater and Music Theater of Denton have been making, I think, really great use of projections. So there are some projections in the show. I got to see the photographs that Jeff Wu, our staff photographer, shot last night. This, as far as I'm concerned, is some of the strongest, most animated costuming since Denton Community Theater did Rocky Horror Picture Show. These costumes look really great. Jason Lee, the real Jason Lee, who used to work with us as a graphics designer at the Record-Chronicle. He has done, if not all the airbrushing, he's done a lot of airbrushing on the costumes.
Oh, that's so cool.
And then the head costumes are. I think this is going to be one of the strongest entries that the Community Theater has done in probably 3 years. So I highly recommend it. Now, ticket prices. $22 for adults, $18 for ages 62 and older, $15 for students. You do have to present an ID, a school ID, and $10 for ages 12 and younger. I remember feeling a little bit, I wondered if the local community theater was going to be able to really stage Les Miserables, and they did a great job. And I think this is going to be a really strong weekend. So if you're on the fence, make a decision because the show really might sell out. You can buy tickets online at www.dentoncommunitytheater.com, or you can call the box office at 940-382-1915. That number again is 940-382-1915. I think after Friday, you're going to see a lot of posts on social media about the show, and I think you're going to hear a lot of word of mouth. But what's going on in the business world here in Denton this weekend?
First I have to say, I've never seen Cats, ever. I've never seen any rendition of it in my entire life.
I saw the PBS version of it. I think they filmed the Broadway versions, and it's been years. But
I now genuinely feel guilty about never having seen it after you just described it.
I still remember back in the 80s when Barbra Streisand recorded the iconic song called Memory from the show, and I think it charted in the top 10.
That's wild.
And I mean, I can't think of a musical theater song that has charted on Billboard's top 40 in ages.
Yeah.
So this was a very, very important cultural moment when
a phenomenon.
It really was.
That's so cool. Well, before you go to see Cats this weekend, it is our back to school shopping weekend. It is the sales tax holiday from August 9th to 11th. And what a sales tax holiday is, if you're not familiar, is the state will say certain items you do not have to pay sales tax on. So those items, this is for back to school. So items are clothes, school supplies, shoes, backpacks, scissors, classroom materials, as long as they are under $100 each. So like, if for some reason you are buying your child Gucci tennis shoes, like they're not going to qualify, you still have to pay the sales tax on them.
Okay.
But it's all for items under $100. The average, it's going to end up being saving $8 per $100 you spend. So
I could do that.
Yeah, it's a good incentive to get out there and get ready because school starts on the 13th.
It's coming up like next week.
Yeah, it's next week. Yeah. So if you haven't done your shopping, this upcoming weekend is the time to do so. Of course, it's going to be super busy.
Yes.
And also I was looking at the statistics today. The National Retail Federation is expecting families with school-age children to spend $696 this year getting ready for back to school.
Per child?
Not per child, just per household.
Per household,
so
okay.
varying amounts of children. They didn't specify, but so if that's the average, I mean, this will save you a good $50 if you stock up this weekend as opposed to any other time. So there's a couple of events going on around this. So first, the mall is, promoting this like crazy because they have all of the back to school stuff between Macy's and JCPenney, Barnes & Noble, DSW. There's just a ton of stuff. So they're going to have normal hours, but just keep an eye out because Macy's and Penny's and some of those other bigger stores in the past have opened their doors a little bit early.
Oh,
the mall opens at 10 a.m., but they open the doors to the mall 3 hours beforehand. So individual stores, it's up to them if they want to open a little bit early. So that's just kind of a tip if you think that might happen. If you're around that area around like 8:30 or 9, maybe just pop in and see what's open. They're doing a promotion that if you spend $125 at stores within the mall, you bring those receipts to guest services and you get a $20 gift card for either Buckle or H&M.
Oh, nice. Okay.
While supplies last. So that starts tomorrow. So that's the first opportunity to get the promo, but it will be lasting throughout the weekend. So it's just shopping anywhere within the mall property.
So you can actually get, but if the tax-free weekend starts on the 9th, they're starting tomorrow is the 8th.
Yeah. So it still qualifies if people want to beat the crowds before it gets crazy. The promotion's just starting a day before the tax weekend.
Got it.
To give a little bit more flexibility. And then a new thing that the mall is doing this year too is they're adding live performances. They've been really ramping up their performances, giving an opportunity to new bands and Denton bands to play for an audience. And they have a really nice stage set up in the food court area. So they're going to have multiple live music acts on Friday and then also on Saturday for your shopping. So if you need to take a break, it's a good chance to check some local music out too, all while staying inside of the air conditioning because it's going to be 100+ this weekend.
Oh, man.
So
Not looking forward to the triple digits, but not unexpected.
Yeah. And so I would say also we have a couple of local events going on. There's some volunteer opportunities if you check our calendar for back to school events. The big back to school events are on Saturday. For DASD United Way. And then also like Scrap is doing a shop fill the bag event.
That's right. That is right.
Registration has closed, but you can still go and support Scrap.
And you can get you can get like crafting and school supplies at Scrap and you get a good rate on them even if the registration's closed.
Yeah.
I routinely drop in and get like office supplies, office supplies and school supplies. There's a lot of overlap.
Yeah. Notebooks, pencils, colored pencils.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's an option.
It's a great option to shop local, to reuse, reduce, reuse. And then, so Scrap for the 25 teachers who registered, they get to fill their bag with everything that they need for their classrooms, for whatever they want. And then they get to take it for free. So if you want to give back to the business that's giving back to teachers, Scrap is a great place to stop and is definitely going to be a little less crowded than a lot of these other properties. There's nothing like specific going on with like the big ones like Target and Walmart. But I will say like, in the weekly ad, Target has buy one, get one half off for kids' shoes. Oh. They have the staples for your school uniforms. If your kid wears a uniform, all the colored polos for the local schools are only $4 right now. The pants and the shorts and the skirts are $8. So if you need to stock up on staples like that for your kids, Target is doing some good sales. And then also Walmart has a lot of the sales over the weekend on the true school supplies. So glue and markers and things like that are really, they're rollbacks, that's how they call their sales. But so that's going on too. But be prepared if you're going out. It's going to be hot and it's going to be busy. So bring water, be prepared for a longer line.
Well, the lines would be longer. Something that I thought about, it probably is not covered under tax-free weekend, but I did want to kind of remind folks that something I see this time of year, every single year, from people I know on Facebook who are public school teachers, a lot of times teachers have to kind of buy Kleenex in bulk, and I'm sure some on some school supply lists, Kleenex is included. If you can, if you have the extra change, I think if you purchase an extra box of tissues, you're really helping our local classrooms.
Totally.
And I know that that's sometimes a point of tension. People feel like, well, I don't want to buy all this Kleenex. If you can, you really will be helping out your teachers.
Totally.
And some teachers will ask you to bring one box of tissues. So I think if you can manage more than one, and maybe if you don't have kids in the local school system, you might be able to get some boxes of Kleenex and see where you might be able to drop them off.
Yeah,
because
totally.
little kids and high schoolers
Are disgusting.
well, they can just go through a lot of tissue, and as we go into the cooler months, the common cold pops up, and my teacher friends talk about literally just going through boxes of Kleenex in 1 week. So just a thought. I don't know that you get sales tax knocked off of that.
I'm not sure, but we will have a complete list in tomorrow's Denton Record Chronicle going over what qualifies, and then a reminder of the rules, and then also just kind of recapping what we talked about what to expect this sales tax holiday weekend and get everybody ready.
Yeah.
So happy back to school.
Happy back to school.
Yeah, happy back to school shopping. And we'll see you guys not next Wednesday. We're off next Wednesday, but the following week here on DentonRadio.com for our show DRC Live. Thanks for tuning in.
Bye.
Well, thank you for tuning in. We hope you enjoyed the show. We want to thank our partners and sponsors who made this show possible. And now stick around for a word from all of us here at Discover Denton.